About a week or two ago, I taught you guys how to play Crash Team Racing in preparation for Nitro Fueled coming June 21st. If you haven't seen the original video, be sure to go check it out. But in that video alone, I told you every single thing you needed to know in order to slaughter the AI, even on the hardest difficulties, as well as most people that are going to be online. You only need this video if you just want to make sure that you dominate online and become one of the best of the best. But before I begin, I have a quick message for the CTR fans watching this right now. This video is for Mario Kart fans, the Mario Kart fans who are interested in picking up CTR when it releases. This is not a contest of which game is harder, which game is easier, which game requires more skill, etc. I can't even count on my hands just how many comments there were in the last video just insulting Mario Kart players and saying how they were gonna get destroyed online. It's gotten so bad that CTR fans even attack each other. When I announced I was doing an advanced tutorial, I had a CTR player go to my Discord server just to find me and DM me about wanting to collab on this video to make sure I quote-unquote did it right. That is honestly one of the most pretentious things I've ever seen any of my viewers do. I apologize for this long intro, but that's something that needed to be said. Now CTR players, chill out, and Mario Kart players, enjoy. For this video, you don't need to learn any new controls. I already taught you all the buttons you need to press in the previous video. In fact, the biggest lesson of today relies on something you were taught in the previous video: the reserve system. It's why the game is as competitive as it is. Now, the reserve system is likely that big scary term you've heard thrown around a ton, but never explained, so it intimidates you. But it's honestly super easy to figure out. Remember drift boosting in that tiny little meter in the bottom right corner of the screen I told you about in the last video? That's how you control your reserves. And there are 3 different ways you can control it: timing it with the start of a race, drift boosting, and jump boosting. And of course, let's start with the start of the race. Now, coming from Mario Kart, your natural instinct pushes you to hit the go button right when the light flashes green. And you're smart, that's exactly what you do here. But there's a little extra. Before that, be sure to press the go button repeatedly to rev up your engine. That way you can fill your reserve meter all the way and get an even bigger boost. Here's an example of start boosting without the reserves, and then with the reserves. Tiny Tiger is a naturally fast character, and you could see how far ahead he got at the start when you didn't use your reserves, but when you did use them, he was nowhere in sight. Next, let's talk about jump boosting. Just like in Mario Kart, you can jump off ramps to gain a small boost when you land back on the ground. But there's no tricks, and this is a lot more manual than automatic. The height of your jump, as well as the boost you get from it, is 100% dependent on how you approach the ramp. How soon you jump off of it, how close to the edge you jump off of it, how fast you're going when you approach it. And it's all indicated by a vertical meter that you can toggle into view with the map by pressing the triangle button. It fills up depending on how high you reach in a single jump. At least green is required for a boost. Some jumps are high enough to get you to max boost alone in the red area, also known as Sacred Fire. And now for the big one, drift boosting with the reserve system. I already taught you about drift boosting, how you can boost 3 times in a single drift, making it to the third one giving you a speed boost equal to that of a boost pad. Now you gain that kind of boost just from being able to get all 3 of your mini boosts in the red area. But what happens if you go further and fill up the bar all the way all 3 times? There is no maximum boost duration. Filling up that bar all the way all 3 times gives you some extra boost in your reserves for the next time you go across a boost pad. And this isn't just a one-time thing either. You can build it up throughout the entire race with multiple boosts. You can go entire races at a boosted speed without running out of fire. Now here's another visual example of going over a boost pad without the reserves and then with the reserves. As you can tell, using your reserves allows the effects of the boost pad to last way longer. Doing everything correctly and consistently will grant you the highest status of Sappy Fire. Basically white fire. You go into the boosting animation, but any orange flames that were once there before are now gone. And the speed increase you get lasts for so long and is so fast that it feels like you're locked into it. A more technical way of explaining it is that it overfills your reserves so much that the number value becomes negative, basically granting you an infinite upgrade in speed. Think of it as Ultra Instinct kart racing. But overall, that's pretty much it. I taught you all the controls, I taught you details of the deeper mechanics. You are pretty much ready to crush everyone in your path, but who should you crush everyone with? Let's discuss character classes real quick. There are 4 classes of racers and their stats depend on who they are, not their kart. So when Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled comes out, you can customize your kart however you like without worrying about messing up any of your stats. This goes for paint, wheels, decals, stickers, everything. Anyways, back to classes. We have acceleration, handling, speed, and all-arounders. The speed class is labeled by the game to be the hardest to use, because they're so fast they have trouble turning properly, so sharp turns are a bit tricky. The handling class is labeled by the game to be the easiest to use. Sure, they're a tad bit slower than anyone else, but they have the best control, making it hard to fall off anywhere. The acceleration class obviously has the best acceleration, with their other stats being a bit more of a wild card, and the all-arounders are pretty much self-explanatory. I typically play as all-arounders because I prefer Crash and Cortex's characters, but all 4 classes are easy to pick up and play. Now before I go, do you want to hear a secret? Growing up with this game, I didn't know a single thing I talked about in this video until just a couple months ago when I started making these CTR speculation and how to play videos. And this is all my gameplay you've been watching as well. Look at how much I've done in such a short amount of time. Considering how well I did growing up not even knowing all this stuff and how fast I was able to learn it now, I'm sure you'll have no trouble. So have fun and prepare for Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled.